Good morning. I'm Susan Choquette, and as Pastor Matt mentioned, I'm your current council president. However, today I'm here not as your president, I'm here as a child of Grace. I grew up at Grace. My parents, Mike and Diana Irvin, joined Grace when I was 6 years old and my sister Kim was 4. I remember I was Mary one year at the Christmas pageant. According to my mother, I wiggled a loose tooth the entire time while the boy playing Joseph conducted the choir with a piece of straw from the manger. I was confirmed here, was an acolyte, and participated in youth group. Later, when I returned to the Bay Area, I returned to Grace. My husband Jack and I were married here at Grace, as were my sister and her husband, and more recently, our 3 children were baptized and confirmed here. They're all in high school now. My parents are still members, so I've been here a while. But longevity and familiarity are not what keep me coming here. Rather, it's the fact that through God's grace, we experience the love of God and are joined together by that grace into a community, or perhaps a continuum of community. Because for me, this community at Grace includes you all here today, but also those who guided me as a child and teenager. Many have passed on or moved on, some are still here, but their influences continue to echo in my mind and heart. And as I see how this current community teaches my children, I feel that continuum of grace stretching from the past and into the future. I'd like to draw your attention to the words from 2 Corinthians that are carved into the altar. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. When I was younger, I found this passage confusing, and sometimes I still do, to be honest. How can something weak make something perfect? How can our human imperfections perfect God's power? It seems paradoxical, and yet that's often the nature of grace and faith. Here we all are, a collection of imperfect individuals that make up this community through God's love and grace. God's love binds us together and gives us strength. And for this community to continue to be a place for both us now and for those who come after us, we need to continue to maintain and improve our physical space. Yes, you knew this part was coming. I remember when there was no changing table in the men's room in the narthex, and my husband had to change our kids' diapers on the floor. Now we have improved restrooms and a beautiful narthex area that has become a wonderful place for fellowship. We've made improvements to the education building, including the fabulous new Emmaus room, and yes, again, better restrooms. I remember when the courtyard was mostly dirt and gravel. One time we dug a big pit in it and roasted an entire pig overnight. You remember that. I'm not sure who led that event, but it was certainly a memory. In 2021, after the pandemic, and we hadn't been able to be together here in our physical space for months, we celebrated Grace's 70th anniversary outdoors, of course, in the courtyard, and it was so joyful to be back together in this space. The spaces here at Grace nurture, support, and strengthen our community of faith, allowing us to share in God's love. I encourage you all to join me in supporting the Capital Campaign to refresh and renew our physical spaces. I view my family's contribution to the Capital Campaign as more than just fixing the roof, getting new carpet and paint, or renovating the courtyard. Rather, I see it as a way to connect our present community to our future one. Just as those who came before us in our continuum of community made this physical space a place for us to join together in God's grace, it's now our turn to make sure the future children of Grace have a place as well. Thank you.